session for you today as part of the Move More for Mental Health. So sometimes if you spend all day sitting, you're driving, you're at a desk, your hip flexors, the front of the hips here, can get really tight because you're sort of crunching them together. So we're going to look at freeing up that space. We're also going to look at the external rotator muscles, joints, tendons. So all the deep little stability or stabilizer, supportive muscles that work deep inside the hip joint. So we're going to try and free all of that up because that can sometimes lead to lower back issues, knees, etc., a myriad of issues. So let me set the timer. So we know we are sticking to our 15 minutes if time is of the essence to you today. Okay, so we're starting just on our mats. I've got a rolled up blanket for when we get down onto the floor so that we can protect our knees. So I'll just pop that to one side for now. So standing with purpose, that's how we start. We stand with purpose. Everything to do with the hips. So let's just start with taking a little bit of a knee bend, yeah? We pop the hips back so you can see we're working into that hip joint. Yeah, those hip flexors that I've just said. And we'll just try and go a little deeper. Yeah, a few more down and then squeeze the glutes, push the heels into the floor as you stand back up. Yeah, so you're pushing forward. It's like an exaggerated movement. Don't worry about the arms. They can stay on the hips. There we go. So we've done a bit of that. Let's swing the legs forward and back. If you need to hold onto a wall for balance, then obviously do that as well. So we're just, again, loosening up into the hip joint. Switch. Hold onto your wall, imaginary wall. That's it. And just swinging backwards and forwards, loosening into that joint. Lovely. So let's just take some circles. We come back in the other direction. Whoa. And we switch, circling round. I've got a bit of a wobble on this morning. And back in the other direction. So the aim is just to get that area loosened off a bit. Have a jiggle and a wiggle if you need to. There's no need for that really, was there? Right, so let's come down onto our mats and start to work into some of those lunges. So rolled up blanket under your knees if you need it. I always like it because it just makes things extra comfy. So we start on the knees. Yeah, we're going to stride forward with one leg, and then the idea, because it's this part of the hip that we're trying to open, we maybe want to wiggle that knee a little bit further back. So I'm just going to move my blanket and I'm going to wiggle my knee so I've got a little bit more space here. It's going to look different for everyone. Okay, I'm just showing you what it looks like for me. So then, my hips are balanced and I sink. So it is forwards, but there's a downward motion to it. Oh, that's lovely, lovely, lovely. And then I'm upright in my torso. So you've got some options here. You can take the hands down to the floor and just rest. You can pop the hands onto the supporting knee and it just sort of lifts you more upright. If you've got the hands there, because you've got some tension in the arms, just make sure that it hasn't come up into the shoulders. So we want the neck, the shoulders to be tension free. That's it. Or you can stretch the arms out wide. So as well as opening through the hip, you've now got a stretch all the way through the front of the body, into the chest, the shoulders. Oh, it's a real energizing stretch to do. But all the time, keep the focus, because this is what we're trying to work on. Keep the focus in the pelvis. Lovely. Gently come out, and we're simply switching sides. So that knee can come back. Yeah, have a wiggle and a jiggle if you need to, and take the other foot forward. Okay. Take a moment to position yourself, and then again we sink. Yeah. So there's lots of different views about the position of this front knee over the ankle. A lot of the time you hear about people stacking joints, excellent for alignment and very supportive. However, because we're trying to send the body forwards, having the knee directly over the ankle restricts the movement. So this is still a safe angle. I can still see my toes, yeah, but it allows a bit more give and a bit more movement. And again, you might want to take the hands behind the head this time. Pull the elbows back and lift the sternum, so the bony bit in the centre of the ribs, and lift that up towards the ceiling. And the whole time, that beautiful breath is flowing gently in and out through the nose. Yeah. And release. Excellent. So lots of different variations now that we can work from this lunge position. If you're still okay on your knees, perfect. Again, pad them out if needs be. We'll take the other leg forward again, but this time I'm going to walk it out to the very outside edge of my mat. Yeah? I'm going to walk the toes a little bit further forward, and then as I sink, I've actually got space for my torso and my hands to come to the inside of that leg. Yeah, so if I show you from this angle, I've gone out with that leg, I've got an openness here, and then I can fit my body into the centre. So I've got a couple of options here. That might be enough, that might be wide enough. Using the hand to push the knee away, so we've got external rotation now into that hip. Yeah, and you'll notice that I'm turning so far that my foot ends up on the little toe edge. Yeah, so I've opened out that space. And then you can just sort of twist your body. So you start to look over the shoulder. Oh, that's just delicious. And again, breath flowing. So when we think about the breath in yoga, stay in that position by the way. When we think about the breath in yoga, we're thinking about it as a healing source of energy. So we talk about prana being our life force, yeah, that magical life force that flows through the body in our subtle energy systems. So the way we use the breath, we inhale through the nose and we send the breath to all the bits that feel tight and tense, and we imagine that breath healing, softening, releasing. As you exhale, you can then really give into it. You can let everything go. And sometimes you feel that you can get a little bit further with each out breath. Okay. Gently now, because you'll feel a little bit achy in the hips, bring yourself carefully back up and we'll switch sides. So other leg goes out in front, we walk the foot to the outside edge, yeah, just as we did. We sink, we bring the arms into the centre of the body, and then again we can open, and look, you can just really get the shoulders, get the back into it, open through the hips. And take a second to breathe. Check in here, make sure there's no tightness or tension. Oh, and sometimes you need to fidget about in these as well a little bit until you find, that little tender hot spot. that's you. That's the blockage. That's the bit you need to work through. Find it, hold it, breathe into it. Yeah, wonderful. Bring the legs back up. Okay, let's sit on your bottoms. Again, propping your hips up a little bit higher can feel comfier as well for this. So maybe you rolled up blanket or a cushion. Let's take the soles of the feet together. The knees come out wide. Now, we're going to try and keep the body straight. So you can put the hands behind you and just lift up through the chest. Yeah, so you've got a lovely elongated spine. The shoulders are pulling down backwards towards the floor and the knees are pressing out. And again, we breathe in. Breathe out and release into it. Breathe in. If you feel you've got a bit more space, wiggle yourself forward, take hold of the feet or the ankles, and again, try to pull the shoulders back and keep the spine, quite lengthened in a line. And then you can reach forward and maybe even use the arms to press down. Yeah. Breathing into the inner thighs, into the pelvis. Okay, let's extend this leg out. Yeah, one leg goes out to the side, the heel comes into the groin, and again, wiggle about so you make sure you're even through the hips. So we want a nice strong front of the thigh. So when you prod the quadricep muscle here, it's hard, yeah? Which means the foot is flexed, heel pushes out, toes pull back towards your body. Sitting tall, hinging forward at the hips, take the hands out in front. If this doesn't feel achievable, again, you've got that option of just pushing yourself up tall. Yeah. For some of you, you can walk the hands even further. Look, my hands are off camera now. Walk even further. Some of you will lie all the way down flat on the floor. We are all beautiful, wonderful individuals. Yeah. Breath now into the inner thigh. You might feel this more in your lower back. You might feel it more in your neck if you're carrying tension in your neck. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. It's just understanding that we're trying to open the pelvis, release tension, and that tension could be sent anywhere through the body because everything's connected. Inhale, sit up, switch sides, out. That's it, wiggle, bring the heel in towards the groin, and again, pushing up from behind, taking a few breaths, keeping that foot strongly flexed and the quad switched on, and then you can always wiggle forward. Again, if the shoulders have come up, just check in, pull them back down. Breathe. And enjoy. Yeah. One more deep inhale. And exhale. And release. A lovely way to finish a sequence like this, laying down completely flat on the floor, taking the soles of the feet together again, letting the knees fall out wide, spine aligned, arms away from the body, and just close your eyes and rest. So this is a more restorative posture, something you can do laid in bed as you're relaxing and winding down before you go to sleep. And here, the messages that we're sending to our body is relax, let go, release. The eyes are closed. tummy muscles, the back, everything just softens. The breath flows freely, connecting with any part of the body that needs it the most. And by staying in the postures longer and staying still, so we're trying to resist the urge to fidget, we're now letting the attention go deeper into the joints, so the muscles relax, and then the ligaments, the tendons, the smaller supportive connecting muscles and tissues around the joints can all start to soften and release too. There we go, there's our timer, 15 minutes. Gently bring the legs back in together.
The alarm was finished, I heard it.
Thank you, that's my helper Arthur, just telling you that the alarm has finished. Bring yourselves up to seating. I'll just switch the beeping off.
Because I heard it in there.
You did, my darling, thank you. And then from a seating position, have a wiggle, have a roll, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you again soon. Thank you.